Hare Krishna. Greetings from Colombia. I think it's a new name, but which we know is Sham. And it's been quite a nice day. Um, I guess they're going to start up weekly kirtan again. Jai Jagannath is going to be coming for, I think, 4 or 5 months, but I'm trying to get him back for our retreat. We'll see. Um, and last night there was a nice kirtan. Those of you who've been here, Vrindavan Chandra, he's a young Colombian man, devotee, nice devotee, about 30 years old. I think he's lived in India for 15, 20 years. Wonderful Vaishnava. And Lilo, uh, longtime person, I think, maybe born in Krishna consciousness or something, but in his 40s or something. And yeah, it was great. It was great. Um, I'm trying to, each time you're in a new place, and I think I have to, I have to do one thing to readjust for me to be comfortable. It'll take me a second. Okay, that's better. That's much better for me. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's get into it. Wait a second, 1 second. I had my place and I lost it. 1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Be right there, just finding the space, finding the verse. Okay, we'll start from verse 128, Book 2, Chapter 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Teṣāṁ kasmiṁścid ekasyam śraddhayānuṣṭhite sati svayam āvirbhavet premā śrīmat-kṛṣṇa-padābjayoḥ. When one engages with faith, even in one of these forms of bhakti, pure love for the lotus feet of Śrī Kṛṣṇa automatically arises. Purport, as explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Srila Sanatana Goswami in Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2262. Śraddha, or faith, is properly understood in terms of trust, vishvas, in the efficacy of the devotional process. Shraddha Shabde Vishvas Kahi Surida Nischay Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. By rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith favorable to the discharge of devotional service is called Śraddha. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmulatam Yena Tasmai Śrī Gurave Namaha Śrī Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Tapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Sapadantikam Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Shindu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Śrī Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So greetings from Kali. Just to keep us in frame of reference, you remember in Gopkumar's journey, he almost got caught in Mahakalapur, the abode of liberation. Gopkumar is a simple cowherd boy who has faith in the mantra his guru gave him, but quite uneducated. He doesn't even know what the different principles of bhakti is. It's just his faith based on his experience of chanting this mantra, the Gopal mantra, Madan Gopal mantra. And that's carrying him on. And a very interesting thing happens in his particular journey. I think is very important to this. He keeps on meeting God and becomes very attracted, but never completely satiated. And what happens here is because he is meeting his Lord, but not fully manifest. So it's very attractive even to meet an aspect or a manifestation of God. Like yesterday at the kirtan, I guess it was for new people. They only chanted the Hare Krishna mantra at the end. But the musicians were very expert and their behavior and their communication. So I was appreciating the mantra. The first one was Hari Om, but done in a very musical way and call and response. And the last one was a variety of Sita Ram, just in a very, a person so expert, Vrindavan Chandra. And then Radhe Govinda, okay. And then ending with Hare Krishna. And it was nice. Even there were little children there, and he got him up, and people were dancing. So it was very engaging. So it's like that. I'm attracted, Hari Om, it's Krishna. Sita Ram, it's beautiful, it's Krishna. But after a while, I want the Maha Mantra, which is fully representative of the form Bhagavat Sarup Gyan, the form of God of which I have a relationship. So it's attraction but dissatisfaction. The attraction can be very, very profound, but ultimately there'll be some dissatisfaction. It's the same moonlight of the month of Chaitra. It's the same Malati breezes blowing in the air, but I'm not happy here. I want you in the days of my youth. Radharani at Srimati Radharani at Kurukshetra. Krishna was there, but not there. Well, Prabhupada gives the example of the High Court judge. I explained this many times. If you're the lover of the High Court judge, your lover is there and not there. And you may be very satisfied meeting your lover there, but after a while, because of the demands of the environment. So this is also, this part of the book is called Goloka Mahatmyam, the glories of Goloka, where the bhava and mood of the full revelation of God, Akila Rasamrita Murti, and the place where there are no demands on the personality of Godhead to shield his intimate side. Anyway, Gop Kumar sees Lord Shiva completely attractive. And then the Vaikuntha-vasis come by and they're even more attractive. And then within the Vaikuntha-vasis, there's the four Kumaras or incarnations of God, which is even more attractive. And it really, pulls on his, seems profound samskaras of attraction to God. It really pulls on his heart so strongly. And he develops this tremendous anxiety, which has to come within our spiritual life. It should come in our spiritual life that I really want Krishna. And I'm either in a situation or a consciousness which is not fully attracted. It's very blissful here. I mean, the weather is just sublime. And I have to say, they're taking care of me really nicely. Every morning, that arepa with some avocado and some fresh cheese and a bowl of mangoes that are real mangoes and papayas that are real papayas and bananas that are real bananas. Very sublime, and getting up early and just sitting and chanting. But chanting has to come to like a dissatisfaction, because it should be this mirror up to the false ego. Not in bhakti, the dissatisfaction is the satisfaction because it's a symptom of bhakti, which is our satisfaction and pleasure. But just, I want more. I want deeper. I'm not good enough, but not in a psychologically debilitating way. I want more. I want more. So Gop Kumar is dissatisfied, and then throughout this we'll see these beautiful qualities of Vaishnava Yata Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the topmost Vaishnava. So we'll just see the qualities of compassion. We'll see the qualities of compassion, of humility. Lord Shiva, such an exalted personality. He is feeling, and the author of this book is Sanatana Goswami, and I can say by studying this in 3 or 4 different classes, I'm developing a real attraction for Sanatana Goswami. And I already knew, but it's being enhanced, that his particular quality was his compassion. It's described in Bhakti Ratnakar. He goes to every village and people are coming to him with their different problems and troubles, and he listens and he goes outside of the village and he goes to the next place and people are following him. That type of personality. One time I heard in India, in India, I forgot where, that a sadhu should be open, not just long lines to see them, but it has to when you get so many disciples. It should be open. And how does Raghunath Das Goswami in Vilap Kushmanjali glorify Sanatana Goswami? Vairagya Yug Bhakti, Vairagya Yug Bhakti, Vairagya Yug Bhakti, Vairagya Yug Bhakti, Apaya Mamana Bipsamandam Kripambhuti Yaparaduka Duki. Vairagya Yug Bhakti Rasampayatnai. Apaya mamam anubipsamandam kripambudhiya ya paradukadu. No suffering, just suffering for the others. That type of personality, the quality that we should emulate, that kind of empathy and compassion. No suffering, but sensitive and feels sensitive and feels for others. Sensitive and feels for others. I have no anxiety, but I feel for others. So that quality of Sanatana Goswami throughout the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta and his purports, but it's exemplified in Lord Shiva. He's sensitive. Gop Kumar is distressed. And there's a transcendental system because Gop Kumar is actually one of the cowherd boys, which he'll realize. And that transcendental system, which is also a nice theme, that you may not see it, but God is basically following you and trying to help you and arranging the world to bring you to higher levels of consciousness. So anyway, Sanatana Goswami, Gopkumar has something, and not Sanatana Goswami, Lord Shiva, and he does it through Parvati, he does it through Ganesh, and then finally he intercedes himself when he sees Gopkumar collapses. I want to be with these great devotees, the four Kumars. And again, that sense, that lobha or greed, that desire for sadhu sanga as practically the prime objective and desire in our life to advance further in devotional service. Um, so Lord Shiva comes and tells him, I'm also not qualified. And it's so, difficult. But then, now this is such a beautiful point in devotional service. We have to understand that we can't achieve God by our effort. We know that from the Damodar Leela, that it's always short by our effort. And if you have faith in God, it has to be that way. Because what is the value of God? What does it take to earn God? And if you think I can earn God by my karmic, my effort, then you don't understand what God is. I can earn God. No, we don't understand. But we have hope that we can attain God because one of the qualities in God is his kripa or mercy, which give something to people who don't deserve it, which is us. And he's Kripambudhiya. He's an ocean of mercy, not just mercy, especially Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prem. Lord Chaitanya, Namo Mahabhadanyaya, so merciful, Lord Chaitanya. So, and then the Vaikuntha-vasis intercede because their disciples, well, no, the associates of Lord Shiva intercede because he's being so self-denigrating. I'm not qualified, and then say, no, you are, and then they turn their attention to Gop Kumar and say, you're one of us, and because you honored the Bhagavatam, because you have a pure devotee as a guru, and because you do devotional service, you can achieve this. And now we're in this exposition of bhakti. And I have to say, this is a very challenging section because it deals with the nature of bhakti, which is contentious, the nature of bhakti, but we're very clear from the teachings of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. This question, is bhakti inherent or is bhakti inherited? Where it's inherent and it's inherited. Like, where does fire come when you burn wood? The fire is in the wood, otherwise it wouldn't come out, but it needs fire externally. So therefore, we'll see in Shastra, it may be emphasized, the sadhu Sanga, that bhakti comes from the great soul, and it does. And it energizes what is within us. So it's kind of, and sometimes in these Monday morning, these Sunday classes, I shy away from things that have long purports because I'll put it not in a bad, I pride myself that I'm a communicator. And I realize this is a once a week for most of you, maybe twice a week. And it's hard even to remember the context for me from one class to another and to keep people's attention. When I study with Niranjan Swami, okay, it's just myself, Niranjan Swami, and Jagadish from Mayapur, our friend. So we read the purports. We can do that. Here I couldn't. But let's get into it. And this exposition of bhakti, and I think it's quite fascinating. So first, he's explaining that faith in one of these forms of bhakti, then you can achieve. Because he's concerned, can I achieve Vaikuntha? It's so exalted. No. By bhakti, you can achieve it. And the basis of bhakti first is your trust, because without that trust, you won't make the effort and give your attention to inspire Krishna to give you that love, which controls him. So this is like such an important point. It's faith, because faith and this trust is the only way to inspire inspire God to reveal himself to one and give oneself that love that's offered back to him, which controls him, which is the exalted nature of personality, that we're affected by people who love us. And we want to serve them, which means we put ourselves under their desires. You may call it slavery. No, it's love. But you're controlled, you're captured. When you're in love, you are controlled by the will and desires of the object of your love. So the distance between us and God is faith. It's not a physical distance, because physical distance is something that we measure in this realm. So in this realm, pantastu koti satavatsara sampagamyo vayor atapi manasa. In this realm, you can't achieve it because it's not in this realm. It can appear in this realm, but it's from another realm that's beyond time and space. And therefore, I quote many, many times that beautiful, beautiful philosophical point by, I don't know, one of the German philosophers, where there is no circumference, the center is everywhere. And that's the whole story of Prahlad Maharaj. Is God here? Is God there? And it is the story of chanting the holy name. It is the story of seeing the deities. And it is the story of hearing the Shastra, visiting the Dham. There's something more there that's required, something else besides your karma to achieve. And it's often described in terms of spiritual senses. And when I was teaching the section on the Lord Chaitanya when he's tasting prasadam, and I love that thing. It's the same this ingredient, it's the same that ingredient, it's the same this ingredient, it's the same that ingredient, it's the same this ingredient. It's all the same ingredients. But why is it something else than these ingredients produce, which is far beyond that? And that's what I like, is the experience of those people who come to the Govardhan Bhakta Seva ashram and go in and execute devotional service in the proper way in the holy Dham. A place which, if you analyze by its ingredients and you analyze by your senses, it's not the most lush gardens. It's not the cleanest place, but it's the most beautiful, because it awakens another set of senses we have that are more connected with the soul. Next verse. Tatapi karya pranaiva pariharaya ridvaja phala tareshu kamasya vaikuntapi varodina. Even so, the disease of aspiring for other goals may hinder devotees from attaining Vaikuntha. To keep their hearts free of this, devotees should with pure love continue practicing devotional service. So these are verses I covered, so I'm going to go over them a little bit. Quite, even though faith can you can achieve this, but the disease of what? Phala antareshu, the ruja, the disease of the heart of aspiring for other goals, of not having faith, because that's what faith is. Faith is our goal. So having other goals, and within devotional service, you can dovetail your karma and things with Krishna. But it always has to be secondary to attaining prema bhakti. It doesn't mean we renounce things. It doesn't mean we leave our families. It doesn't mean we don't pursue our career. But we do it because it is in connection with the goal of attaining prema bhakti. I need to be satisfied in this way. I need to be engaged in this way. So what to do about that? Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kolona, Steva, Nasteva. There's no other way than chanting the holy name. Yadyap yatadrashi bhaktir, yatra yatro papadyate, tat tat stanam, hivaikuntas, tat 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 traiba sapapu, tatapi sarvada sakshad, anyacha bhagavam nadrish nadrishyeteti vaikunto, vashyam bhaktir apekshyate. Although wherever there is such devotional service, the Supreme Lord surely appears, and indeed that place is Vaikuntha. Devotees must still have special regard for the Vaikuntha world, because nowhere else is the personality of Godhead always directly to be seen. We've gone over these, so I'll go over these more quickly than I would. But a question rises when, bhakti and God can appear. What's the need to go elsewhere? So there's some speciality there. And I gave a simple example of a high place that needs to be irrigated and a low place that's naturally irrigated. When they're irrigated, they become the same. But they're not the same, because one place it's naturally irrigated, because it's like the Netherlands. The Netherlands grows like 40% of the world's food or something, the farming there, because it's naturally irrigated. So there's something special also. So although we have faith that we can see God in this world, we're still aspiring to have that faith that brings us to Krishna's world, where he's always visible with his variegated charms, beauty, pastimes, and personal qualities. Sarva pakarika bhaktis tadrashi cha siddhanyata sampajeta nirvigya tanishtai bahubi saha. Nowhere else can such bhakti to him in all its forms be realized forever, without disturbance, and in the company of so many surrendered devotees. So sarva pakarika in all its bhakti, in all its forms, siddha, can be realized always. So the purport, Sanatana Goswami, well, Gopi Pranadhana, 90% is from Sanatana Goswami. All Vaishnavas, therefore, should give Vaikuntha Loka the honor it deserves. Najendriya manakaya cheshta rupam naviditam nitya satya ganananda rupasai hi gunatiga. You should not consider devotional service merely an activity of the body, senses, and mind. In fact, it is in fact the eternal absolute reality manifesting itself as the most intense ecstasy beyond the modes. So just because it's an activity and it has a ritualistic nature, or the senses are used, he describes that it's something else. In the purport it says, pure bhakti is never approached by material senses, even though hearing is done with the ears, chanting with the tongue, remembering with the mind, and praying and other activities with limbs of the body. These activities are not material, they are spiritual activities that can be performed only by a devotee's awakened spiritual senses. That's why one sadhu, Satyananda Swami, was on his Kartik, meditation on the holy name. He does that. One sadhu walked by and said, "Are you chanting the name, or is the name chanting you?" We can't create Krishna by our tongue, but we can attract Krishna by our tongue. And this has to be our endeavor. Not to think that I chant a certain amount of rounds, I can attain this. But when I cry for Krishna, when I make the proper endeavor for Krishna, then certainly he is merciful. And those instances where, like I remember, like in Govardhan, and we had these kirtans in our place, and I could see devotees chanting with such ecstasy. And when that happens, it's in fact the eternal absolute reality manifesting itself beyond the modes. And that's what he's saying. Don't consider it in that way. Nirgune Satchidanandat Mani Krishna Pasadita Sparante Vilasatyatma Bhaktanam Bahudamude. By Lord Krishna's mercy, his devotees happily realize this devotional service in many varieties. It reveals itself to them in their hearts, which are free from the material modes and immersed in eternity, knowledge, and bliss. So there's an experience of God which is beyond the sensual and beyond the egotistical. These are what I analyze as our two pleasures: the egotistical and the sensual. And faith is when you experience something beyond that. And these other activities, they're products of the senses and the material ego. Bhumir apo nalo vayu kamano buddha evacha ahankara itiyama bina prakriti. They're products of these things. So, by Krishna's mercy, then this nirgune Satchidananda Atmani appears in the heart by Krishna Pasada, by Krishna's mercy, revealing itself to the devotees in many varieties. I'll read the purport. If devotional service can be performed only with the spiritual senses, how can conditioned souls ever qualify to engage in it? They can be purified sufficiently to begin transcendental hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord only by Krishna's mercy. As devotees mature in their practice, their individual tastes gradually appear, and on the higher levels of advancement, their reciprocation with Krishna becomes increasingly precise, diverse, and ecstatic. We are really banking on mercy. Vishuddhe tu vivekena satyatmani hare padam gate prakritam bhakti video vilasantihi. When by spiritual discrimination, a devotee becomes completely pure in heart and attains the transcendental abode of the Lord, he realizes the wonderful varieties of devotional service. Purport: the argument for how an aspiring devotee becomes spiritualized is presently positively in this verse and negatively in the next verse. So this describes by spiritual discrimination, this is what we understand. We're not the material body. We practice devotional service and we become purified in heart. And then we realize bhakti fully. Aprakritam bhakti. We realize that. And here it says, by learning to discern spirit from matter, the devotee gradually frees a consciousness from material entanglement with the material body, senses, and all things of this world. This I told. There's a little. I'm trying to figure it out, but what I'm sensing here is this is Brahma Bhuta Pasanatma Nasochati Nakanchatis Sarvasameshu Samasameshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labhati. So this is one way of doing it. This is more like Jnana Mishra Bhakti. We become detached in our practices, and more we're approaching Krishna out of love. And then we realize the transcendental abode. Here's the other way. Well, anyate tere karmani vaite pisur nasangata kayendayatma cheshtato yane natmani sodati. Otherwise, for one whose heart has by transcendental knowledge be freed from material endeavors of the body, mind, and senses, the activities of devotional service would be no more suitable than ordinary affairs. So here's the question. How is it transcendental? Because it's engaged, devotional service is engaged with the senses. And therefore is the doubt when you become purified about bhakti, because it deals so much not with renunciation, but with the dedication of one's activities. But here it says, for one whose heart is by transcendental knowledge has been freed from these I'm really having a hard time, because otherwise, for one whose heart has by transcendental knowledge been freed from the material endeavors of the body, mind, and senses, the activities of devotional service be no suitable in ordinary affairs. So it's saying that one who's become free from this, they could look at devotional service as just material activities. Purport: devotional service consisted of actions of the material senses by material objects. It would be no more spiritual than any other activity. If that's all it is, then how is it spiritual? And no purified person who's given this up would want to take it. So if you're in that path and you struggle to put aside the obligations of Vedic duties, why would you accept new karma entanglement? The advanced soul would look at these things unfavorably. Applying the principle, only the senses are involved with their objects. So anyway, I think what it's trying to present is that devotional service, even though it's engaged with the senses and the mind, it's not material. And therefore, it shouldn't be rejected by people who have become liberated. And that's the whole story of Sukadeva Goswami. Atmaramas chamunayo nigranat upyukrame kurvanta hoita kim bhaktim. Because he was Atmarama. He wanted nothing to do with this material world. He was finished with this. And still he became attracted to the activities describing Krishna. So if he was liberated from the material world and attracted to the activities of Krishna consciousness, then the activities of Krishna consciousness can have nothing to do with the material world. Why should one who renounces the acts of devotion to the Supreme Lord as if they were like other activities go to Vaikuntha? He should only he should only he should obtain only a liberation. I'm just reading for you. Even if persons whose vision is limited and materialistic think devotional service just another kind of karma, it is not. It is not at all. Let them think that way and let them talk on in that way as they do when they dismiss as material the bodies and personal qualities of the Lord's devotees. I'm just reading some verses into next. In Vaikuntha and elsewhere, the transcendental nature of devotional activity spontaneously shows itself in the suitable form Satchidananda bodies of the Lord's devotees, bodies composed of limbs and senses. So what's being done here is the Vaikuntha Vasis are telling Gopakumar that you can achieve Vaikuntha, you can satisfy your heart by bhakti, and you should understand that bhakti is not material, even though we engage the body, mind, and senses, which are generally the body's a product of karma. It's not, it's spiritual. It's being inspired by the soul and not just the material mind and body. In other words, it's explaining that devotional service is a transcendental activity. It's not material. Um, and what's the proof? Look at the spiritual world. There's so many bodies. It's not material. Activities are not material. So, and I guess this is again in the presentation of the Vaikuntha Vasis, but Sanatana Goswami choosing this because it's clearing up some doubts. Maybe we don't have it because, like when they say to consider the demigods equal to Krishna, demigods. We're not in that culture. It's like almost a second offense doesn't apply to me because I'm not going to consider the demigods equal to Krishna. Of course, I can commit the other offense and see them as so separate from Krishna that I hate them and see them as Krishna's competitors. So, and impersonalism, nirvishesha, shunyavadi. I was meditating on Prabhupada's pranam mantra, nirvishesha, shunyavadi, pasyata. It's Prabhupada's preaching against this. And therefore, when one doesn't have sambandha gyan, and therefore doesn't understand the relationship with the soul and the body and thinks we're the body, doesn't understand the relationship of the soul with God and thinks we're God, and doesn't understand the relationship with God and matter and thinks God is material, then infected with that consciousness, one can't practice bhakti because one will want to be the enjoyer, doesn't see the necessity for bhakti when one thinks they're bhakti, and when one sees the form of God, why should it worship the form of God? Because they think it's material. So this is just the Bhagavatam, because this is a summary of the Bhagavatam. So all these tattvas are there. I think we will continue this on Wednesday and next week. Jamuna Jaya, what did you pick up from this here?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for class. I actually, I really got a lot, but I really love my top 2 points was like the thing of, and you've said it many times, but if you think you can earn God, you don't know what God is. That just really says it in one fell shot. And then I love the point of without faith, you don't make the effort. And if you don't make the effort, like we can't get God, but we can work to attract it, but that we won't do that without the faith. And we see that in Gopakumar, the faith, the faith, the faith. So that was really very powerful today.
Yeah, without faith, we'll never make effort. And will never show love.
Yeah.
Without faith, trust that this is worthy of my devotions, or figuring out that it's worthy of my devotions by hearing the philosophy. And I always remember this guy came to study with me because I somehow had studied the Bhakti Sandarbha in English before anybody. So he was studying for his PhD. So he begged me to teach him the Bhakti Sandarbha. So I came, I said, one point, he said, I disagree. I said, get out. I'm going to teach you. Just first hear the explanation. Let me explain it, or try to elicit a clear, understanding. I disagree. Get out. I'm cruel. He had to beg me to teach him. I'm going to waste my time. We'll explain all doubts, but if there's no faith, and I'm not, demanding or imposing myself on him, but there's no faith, then how will I even be able to explain to him how things are true?
Yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Raj.
I fear calling on the next caller. I'm terrified today because there were so many subtle points and she's going to pick up each one. Gail, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Well, I don't know if you're justified or not, but I do have a few questions. I don't know how much
Gail,
bandwidth you have.
I have at least one or two, and it's our relationship. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So this point that we are performing bhakti with our material senses, but it's spiritual, right? So when it comes to chanting, that's kind of easier to understand because I didn't make up Krishna's names. That didn't come out of my head. That was given to me. It's like the sun coming through the window, but the sun wasn't produced by the window, that type of thing. But when it comes to other forms of devotional service, like cooking, for example, or cleaning the temple, you know, it's a little more challenging to see those as spiritual. I know everything is a matter of consciousness, right? That's what makes it
Well,
spiritual.
what it's saying is, and I think it's a very key point, is the special ecstasy in doing an ordinary activity that normally wouldn't create that is an experience with our spiritual senses. That's what my understanding is. Because
Oh,
it mentioned in that verse the special ecstasy, the revelation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I was taking Charanamrita, and my whole house turned into Vaikuntha. So that there's a faith and a humility in us that there's something much higher than us. And, we are the frogs in the well. We have to be open to other realities. So that's why the verse said the Ganananda, the cloud of ecstasy, the special ecstasy that comes, a special feeling. So, and granted, we don't always have those feelings, but therefore it said, just keep on doing devotional service and purify your heart. But the faith comes from those experiences, which we sometimes have, or we can have always. I'm chanting a lot here. It's just I wake up early. I don't know. God's blessed me. Knock on wood, if I can find wood here, because it's all stone. With them, that I don't need much sleep. I just I don't use an alarm, and I just wake up. So yesterday, I don't think because there were people here, and I know, and after the program, I don't think I get to bed 10 o'clock, but I woke up at 2. And I was rested, and I was sitting and chanting and chanting. and praying, praying, that the spiritual senses become awakened and the name starts to chant me and the experience becomes something more. But at least I was chanting for several hours, so it's not that bad. Okay, one more, Gail.
Okay, I mean, this is, when we talk about making that endeavor to inspire Krishna's mercy upon us and crying, right?
Yeah.
Crying when we're chanting. I mean, obviously, those should not be artificial tears, but this word crying can be translated as just chant from some authentic desire, no? Something real within you. Isn't that the crying?
I told you it was kind of like there's a great saint in Vrindavan. His name is Vinod Baba. And he chants every day from 5 to 2. And I was in Barsana, and Vikram, I was with him. This was 2, 3 years ago. So Vikram has a way of getting in everywhere. And, Vikram went in there to him and spoke to him in Hindi and said, I'm here, like I'm someone. So he called me as I'm sitting there. And this is like, he's chanting every day from 5 to 2. And so I thought I'd ask a question. Can we think of Krishna's pastimes while chanting? He said, no, that'll be inattentive chanting. Then he started chanting. And then he said, then he looked at me and he said, but you can try a little. So it's like that. You can try to cry. You can try.
I don't know. Mara, that sounds artificial.
No, it's not artificial.
Try to cry like real, like tears.
Prabhupada said we should chant the holy name like a child who's crying for his mother.
But isn't he referring to authenticity? I mean,
yeah, there's authenticity there, but we should try. Prabhupada said we should chant the holy name, so we should try. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Oh Radhe, oh Krishna, please engage me in your devotional service. We can try.
Oh my God, I'm not vibing with that.
Okay, we can talk personally on this, Gail. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hey, great to see you.
Thanks so much for class.
Okay. Looking forward to seeing you in New Jersey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Eunice here. Hi, Bo. Nice to see you.
How are you?
Good.
I love this class.
Thank you. Thank you.
Took a lot of notes, and I really, really appreciate it. That whole thing is a little difficult for some of us, at least for me, to be happy. The whole idea of separation. Okay, so the analogy I would give is like a child going into a chocolate factory, right? And he wants more and more, but materially you get, you can't keep doing that. Spiritually, it's very different. And that when you said, I just want more, that left me with a very positive feeling rather than I'm falling short.
Oh, that's a nice way of looking at it. Yeah. Because we'll never the idea is God is so great that we can never feel we have it all. And the whole idea of bhakti, and I got this analogy of bhakti being a thirst. So a thirst means I don't have water. But when it's materially, you take water and it quenches your thirst. Water doesn't increase thirst, but when you thirst for bhakti, the very thing that you get is increasing the thirst. So there's a sense also that you're feeling you have less and less of it, when actually you're having more and more of it. And And I think there's also something with the realm of bhakti that we're very humble. You know, we don't understand God's realm. It doesn't work on the same laws of nature and logic and things where we can, put things in microscopes and quantify things. So there'll be things like ecstasy and agony together, where in the material world they'll be separated. But it's go ahead.
I just would maybe
Go ahead.
add that there's a mood that carries forth of, as we all know, of self-deprecation. I'm so fallen, I'm so lowly, and it's a negative approach. And it's the truth, but it's still a negative approach. And I just wonder if the mindset shifts towards positive, like a child, I just want more. There's no harm in that. It's not because of how much I'm lacking that I should focus on, but rather I just want more.
I think I wrote an article about it. I think it's a deep subject. I think
It is.
maybe during the week we'll coordinate. We can discuss this more, but I think it's something, the difference between humility and guilt. You know, I think there's humility kind of means I'm not up to the mark, and guilt is deprecating you for it. So I think that's what you're saying. You'd rather have the humility that, I'm not up to the mark. And I think spiritual life is in that realm. It's not the realm of that type of guilt that's psychological and so debilitating. And you're right, it is a problem in a spiritual society because these things get translated into particular languages. And it's just like the difference between a child, right? If he has really good experience with his parents, right? And the parents maybe punish the child will think I did something wrong, right? But if he's had bad experience with authority, he'll look at it, I'm being mistreated. It's the same activity. And one is a healthy consciousness and one is not. And I think the problem and I try to translate things like you say in a positive way because we're dealing in things that intact. For example, I gave this lecture on Raghunath Das Goswami and he's blasting his parents. Lord Chaitanya is saying they're like worms in stool and all these things, right? And it's this very heavy thing, right? So I was in an audience, this is 20 years ago. Half were Indians who were completely intact, had their families together, right? And were attached. And others were people, more Western oriented that haven't got their lives together yet. So when you start getting heavy about those things, for one group, you're criticizing the very thing they need for their Krishna consciousness. And the other group, you're criticizing the very thing they need to give up for their Krishna consciousness. And the Indians, when you're speaking heavy about these things, and they know how attached they are, they go, yes, 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 but they're psychologically satisfied, right? But they're understanding, yes, yes. And the other group, when you say this thing, they're not psychologically satisfied, so it hits them very hard. So, okay, we can speak more later. I'm here.
Thank you.
I'll drop you a note. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Eustace. It's important. Anybody else like to say hello before I go and take arepas and avocados and cheese and the painstaking life of some sannyasi? Haribo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Govinda. Thank you for
Okay.
class.
Okay. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Give my regards to Bṛhad.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare
Sri
Krishna
Radhika
Maharaj.
here.
Oh,
Thank
so
you.
great. We're going to see you guys up in our retreat.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you,
That's
Maharaj.
That'll be
Maharaj,
so.
can I know the date when you're coming to Florida?
Yes, I'm coming on. My flight is on May 1st, and I leave on May 5th, and the program will be May 2nd. The 1st is a Friday.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank
Do,
you.
do
Thank
you
you.
know Lakshmi Nrsinga?
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Well,
Should we-
just send them a message that you're my students, my disciples, my friends. You're
Sure,
coming
Maharaj.
up, you know.
Sure.
That way you may be able to come up. Can I come up a little bit earlier and see Marge before the program? That kind of thing.
Okay,
Okay.
sure, Maharaj.
Sure,
All right.
sure.
Okay.
Thank
Okay. Thank you.
you.
Haribo.
Okay. Oh, great. Ishwari, good. You'll come up too. That's so nice. Okay. Anybody else say hello? Okay. I'm going to head out. I'm looking at all the names of the people that graced me by coming to the class today. Thank you so much. Now I will see if my arepas are ready. Bunch of